And there goes another wrecked car. What a waste. And that's not even considering the toll in lives and human suffering. Almost without exception, every wrecked car in that shop is there because its driver did not know how to manage his driving space. To drive well in traffic, you need to position your car safely. Choose a spot that lets you see the best and be seen the most. Learn how to use your space by deciding the amount of time you'll need to maneuver the car. And learn to judge the time and space other drivers and vehicles need to perform their maneuvers. What exactly is driving space? Well, simply put, it's that space around your car to the front, the side, and to the rear, within which you are vulnerable to collision. It's kind of like having a big space cushion surrounding your car. Any vehicle or object that pierces this cushion has penetrated your safe driving space and becomes a potential threat. How big a space cushion we need is determined by several important factors. Your vehicle speed, visibility and how well you can see, road conditions, and traffic. Let's go into one of our training rooms, and I'll demonstrate on our traffic board what really constitutes driving space and time, and how you as drivers can manage your own space and time for safer driving. As I stated before, there are 4 factors that determine how much driving space and time we need. First, let's take your vehicle's speed, for speed is time. Most of you are aware of the 2-second rule, where at moderate speeds, you need to be at least 2 seconds traveling time behind the vehicle ahead of you. And at highway speeds, at least 4 seconds behind the vehicle ahead. The faster you are driving, the more time and space it takes to react and stop, or maneuver to avoid a collision. But what about behind you? Shouldn't that vehicle also be at a safe distance from you? Absolutely. The faster you go, the more driving space you need from vehicles ahead of and behind you. Visibility can determine how much driving space you need. Most of what you do is a result of what you see, and only by scanning the road ahead can you detect the changes in the traffic situation or the road conditions. If you cannot see at least 12 seconds ahead of you because of poor visibility, you need more space, more time. But visibility is not just restricted by weather. Your visibility within your driving space can be restricted by other vehicles, as well as by road conditions, tight curves, hills, or obstacles. Certainly, the amount of traffic on the road will have a drastic effect on the safe driving space you will need, not to mention the erratic actions of some drivers. We've shown you the 4 factors that determine how much driving space and time you will need. How we control and adjust for any penetration into our driving space is what management is all about. Management of space and time is identifying a problem, developing a solution, and executing a correction. As drivers, you control your own space by adjusting speed, lane positioning, and by communicating with other drivers. So, by using the principles of management, let's see how we can control some typical penetrations into our driving space. The vehicle ahead in our path of travel is stalled at the traffic light. He has now penetrated our safe driving space. We are faced with slowing down or changing lanes. With this vehicle behind us, it's not advisable to slow down. There's also a vehicle coming up fast on our left, so that lane is blocked. But the right lane is open. So, by signaling our intent to the 2 vehicles behind us, we can change lanes, still maintaining our speed, and open up not only the driving space in front, but the space to our rear as well. When you meet another vehicle on a two-lane roadway, you need to allow yourself as much safe driving space on your left as possible. But in this situation, there is a cyclist riding on the shoulder. At our present speed, we would meet that truck at the precise moment of passing the cyclist. Giving the cyclist as much room as possible would jeopardize the driving space to our left and ultimately place the cyclist in great danger. The proper solution to this problem is to reduce speed so as to permit the truck to meet the cyclist before we meet the truck. This means communicating our intentions to the driver behind by flashing our brake lights. Now let's put ourselves on a busy four-lane roadway with cross streets and see how our management skills will solve this situation. The vehicle in the left lane is signaling for a left turn, but with oncoming traffic, he will be forced to stop and wait. How will this affect our driving space? For one thing, that car right behind him will probably try to move into our lane to avoid having to stop. This would definitely reduce our safe following distance. Here's where our management skills will pay off. A check in our mirror shows a vehicle far enough behind to enable us to reduce speed. By slowing down, we not only give the driver on our left more room to safely change lanes, but we also give ourselves more time to react further should he get into a problem at the intersection. Passing another vehicle on a two-lane road is one of the most critical decisions you will ever have to make. It's difficult to estimate the speed of an oncoming vehicle, particularly when it's far enough away so as to almost appear to be standing still. But you must assume that any oncoming vehicle is traveling at least the legal speed limit. This means you will meet at a point approximately half the distance between the two of you. You need to have enough time and distance to accelerate, pass the vehicle ahead, and return to your own lane before you reach this halfway point. If you have any doubts whatsoever, don't try it. Wait until there is no question of a safe passing distance. In the short time allowed, I've been able to show you only these few examples of managing your driving space and time. But the three principles of management will apply wherever you drive. Identify the problem. By scanning the road up to 12 seconds driving time ahead, and by using your mirrors, know what is around you at all times. Develop a solution. By taking into account all of the traffic around you and assessing the best possible move. Execute the correction. After communicating your intentions to other drivers, your corrections of a speed adjustment or lane position can be made without panic. Each time you're out driving, you'll be faced with hundreds of different situations where management of your driving space and time will be required. Many of these maneuvers you'll do almost automatically because of experience. But the space cushion is not automatic. As a driver in traffic, you cannot be a passive observer. You must be an active participant and manage your driving by constantly making adjustments to changes that occur in your safe driving space.
A lot of drivers ignore this warning. Almost every 90 minutes, one of them is hit by a train.
Come on, you're gonna make us late. Hey, man, what is this with you? What's your problem? Come on, Mike. You're gonna make us late. There's never a train here. Just go for it. No one's gonna see you. The light's probably broken. Yeah, let's go. Come on, Mike. Come on, chicken. Yeah! I wish I hadn't listened to him.
You chose to ignore the flashing signal. This is the next 60 minutes of your life.
你講死我！
Texas roads can be highways or highways. The choice is yours.
He didn't look. He didn't listen.
It's like him believing that if I could see him, that I could stop the train.
He drove right out in front of me. Didn't he know that sign meant yield?
Takes me a mile and a half to stop. A mile and a half.
The whole time I'm just praying that she would just move. She didn't move.
Driving along the roadway, we receive a variety of information from signs, signals, and markings. And as drivers, we have to pick out those that are most important to us at the moment. But even in the course of a short, simple drive, a great deal of highway media can unfold. And though our roadways may sometimes appear to us as a jumble of information, these signs, signals, and markings have in fact been carefully designed to make navigation safer and easier. And can you imagine what driving would be like without them? Let's begin with the way the interstate system is numbered. Two-digit, even-numbered routes are always east-west or latitudinal interstates. Their numbers increase from south to north. For example, I-10 extends from Jacksonville to Santa Monica, while I-90 connects Boston and Seattle. At the same time, odd-numbered routes invariably run north, south, or longitudinally. Their numbers increase as they run eastward, beginning with I-5 in the west and completing along the eastern seaboard with I-95 from Miami to Boston and beyond. The same logic has been applied to those three-digit routes extending from the interstates. Those beginning with odd digits describe spur routes and connect with a main artery at only one end. Loops or beltways, those with even-numbered first digits, attach at both ends to the interstate, hence the name, loop. Provisions have also been made to help you locate yourself on the highway. These take the form of mileposts. As their name suggests, they appear at every mile along major roadways, beginning at the south or west state lines, or at the junction at which the route begins.
Breaker, breaker, milepost 162, Interstate 295 going north, requesting assistance.
Mileposts have proven invaluable in emergencies and other situations in which aid is required. Moreover, so you'll always be sure that you are on the right road, you'll find confirming and reassuring signs just before and just after the entrances, exits, and intersections to and from roadways. They confirm where you are going and reassure you that you are there. Colors also play a significant part in better understanding the highway environment. Even if you miss a sign's particulars, the colors will tell you its subject. Black and white signs are regulatory and state the law, including speed limits and restrictions. And the familiar red means stop, or presents a significant prohibition. Yellow signs provide a general warning and serve an advisory function, alerting drivers to such circumstances as curves, crossings, and zones. Orange signs are warning signs that relate strictly to construction and maintenance, such as a detour or a lane drop in a construction zone. Also note that a symbol on one color sign can sometimes show up on an orange sign. This tells you the same information, but with the additional warning of a construction zone. Green signs offer guidance to other routes, population centers, and other related information, such as directions to airports. Those that are blue offer service-related information. Gas, food, and lodging are the most common examples. And brown indicates a nearby recreation facility, such as a park, overlook, or playground. Perhaps the most important information a marking can provide is where the road is, and reflectorized delineators, particularly on nights where headlights may not be sufficient, have helped many drivers maintain their bearings. Single white reflectors normally indicate the right edge of the roadway. However, the lanes to and from on-ramps and exits are marked by double reflectors. And yellow reflectors are used to mark the left side of the road. But under normal circumstances, it is the lines that delineate the roadway, including the edge of the pavement. And while all drivers have a general understanding of their meaning, there are still surprises for even the most informed driver to discover. Do you know, for example, the difference between white and yellow lines? White ones separate traffic going in the same direction, while yellow lines divide traffic going in opposite directions. Solid lines restrict passing, as broken lines permit it. But what about single, solid white lines? They are designed to discourage passing, but not necessarily prohibit it. Broken and solid lines together, of course, indicate passing for one, but not the other. And a double solid yellow line prohibits passing in both directions. Unless, of course, you have to make a turn into a driveway. Also remember that on roads where traffic moves in one direction, the right edge of the road is marked with a solid white line, while the left edge is marked with a yellow one. As for those mysterious symbols we pass every day, chances are you've never given them a second thought. Yet they serve important functions, providing information that makes driving easier as well as safer. One of the least familiar remains the diamond sign. Sometimes appearing on the roadway as well, this symbol indicates a limited access lane, designed for carpools, buses, and other specially designated vehicles. You probably know what this one is, and you know this one too. Both indicate curves, but what's the difference? Well, a sharp turn, 20 miles per hour or under, is indicated by the right angle. The curve represents the more gradual turn, over 20 miles per hour. A rather new sign signifies the addition of a lane. The lane added sign indicates the traffic entering from the right doesn't have to merge left to get onto the roadway. This is especially helpful at on-ramps, where traffic often backs up. The lane added sign also tells drivers already on the highway that the cars approaching on their right will not need to merge into their lane. These strange angles you may have seen lately, well, they're called chevron alignment signs, and they warn of an extremely sharp curve ahead. Slow down. So you see, there's a great deal of information to be found on our roadways, a variety of messages to guide you, direct you, warn you. They're all out there, and the more you know about them and understand what they're saying to you, the better driver you'll be. Oh, one more thing. Before you make a right turn on a red light, remember that red still means full stop. But you knew that already, didn't you?
Your AAA Foundation for Traffic Safety welcomes you to Driving in Bad Weather. We're going to learn to drive safely in adverse conditions. And we'll answer questions like, what's the most important thing you can do to improve safety when visibility is bad? How can you improve safety when driving in the rain? And what can you do to improve safety when driving in snow and on ice? We'll answer all of these questions and more in Driving in Bad Weather.
Hi, welcome to Driving Safety. I'm Patrice King Brown.
And I'm John Burnett, and this installment of Driving Safety is concerned with driving under adverse conditions.
What do you mean adverse conditions?
Bad conditions. Working against you when you drive. Things like rain, fog, smoke, and snow.
As we explore some of the ways we can control adverse conditions, we're going to attempt to answer the questions we heard at the beginning of the program.
The first question is, what's the most important thing you can do to improve safety in adverse driving conditions?
And the answer is slow down. In all adverse driving situations, speed is your greatest enemy.
Good point, Patrice. Now, let's look at driving safely in some adverse conditions.
Our first example will be driving when visibility is limited by fog, sand, dust, or smoke. These drivers are not having fun. They're in a fog right now, but the tips we have work in smoke, dust, or sand as well.
Safety experts tell us what these drivers should be doing. First of all, they should have their lights on and their emergency flashers, if the state where they're driving allows, to increase their visibility to other drivers. Lights should be on low beam. High beams only blind you.